ujasiri siku nzima? Jaribu sasa kwa shilingi 20 tu.
The 2023 Financial Reporting Award is here. Join the FIRE Award to showcase your financial reporting excellence to the world. To participate, avail a soft copy of the latest annual report and audited financial statements and complete the participants' entry form, which can be accessed on the FIRE Award website www.fireaward.org for private sector entities or www.psasb.go.ke for public sector entities before the deadline of 19th October 2023. Get recognized for your financial reporting excellence and enter the FIRE Award now.
Hayawi Hua. KRA presents to you Tax Amnesty. Receive 100% amnesty on accrued tax interest and penalties for periods up to 31st December 2022. Tax amnesty is valid until 30th June 2024. What are you waiting for? Press reset. Visit any KRA offices countrywide or call us on 0711 099 999 or email callcenter@kra.go.ke or visit the KRA website www.kra.go.ke to be advised on how you qualify. Chapa Reset na Tax Amnesty Program. Terms and conditions apply. Kenya Revenue Authority. Tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Did you know that malaria is a top 10 cause of death in Kenya, with over 10,000 Kenyans dying every year from malaria? And the reason being a mosquito. We believe protection and prevention is the best cure in the fight to end malaria. Mortein Doom, with its trusted formulation. It provides protection in seconds. So spread the Mortein Doom message of how we, you and I, can fight to end malaria. Mortein Doom, Kenya's #1 choice.
Karibu sana, tuelekee viwanjani. Bingwa mpya wa dunia wa mbio za mita 800 Mary Moraa amekabidhi taji hilo kwa mshauri wake Helen Obiri. Moraa, ambaye pia ni bingwa wa michezo ya Jumuiya ya Madola katika mbio za mita 800, Jumapili alikaribishwa kishujaa katika mji wa Kisii na serikali ya kaunti ya Kisii. Moraa, mwenye umri wa miaka 23, ambaye alitumia dakika 1 na sekunde 56.03 mnamo Agosti 27 huko Budapest kunyakua taji la dunia, alimtembelea gavana wa Kisii Simba Arati ofisini kwake kabla ya msafara wake kuingia katika mitaa ya mji wa Kisii. Moraa pia alimshukuru mwalimu mkuu wa shule ya sekondari ya Mogonga Haron Ochonga na mwenyekiti wa shirikisho la riadha nchini katika kanda ya Nyanza Kusini Peter Angwenyi kwa kumlipia karo ya shule.
Kitu ya maana, kama singekuwa naamini Mungu na nikanyenyekea, singefika mahali niko
leo. Hata nimetoka na machozi kuona Mary Moraa mwenye tulisoma na yeye akibeba juu na ile magari yenye niliona hadi nilishangaa, nitoka na machozi. Hata mimi natamani at least niweze kurudi huko training, hapa na nisaidie na nguo, niweze kusaidia watoto wangu.
Moraa comes from here, from Kisii. And one of the promises I made to my people is to uplift the sports. And the only way to inspire the young people is to see this kind of exercise, because Moraa already has made it.
Na kocha mkuu wa KCB Kati Zolago amekariri kwamba lengo lao kuu katika mashindano ya Impala Floodies ni jukwaa la kukiweka sawa kikosi kabla ya msimu mpya. Hisia za Zolago zilijiri baada ya KCB kuibomoa Kenya Harlequins katika robo finali ya mashindano Impala Floodies katika klabu ya Impala na kuandaa pambano la nusu finali dhidi ya Nondies. Nusu finali ya pili itawakutanisha Menengai Oilers na Black Blood.
No, we are still in pre-season and a couple of stuff we're still working on. So we are work in progress still. I mean, good performance from the boys, yeah. I want to applaud them. Good leadership from Griffin, the rest. But we are still at pre-season stage. So there's still other guys you're going to test next week.
mtazamaji, kufikia hapa sina budi kutamatisha taarifa zetu za NTV jioni. Shukran sana kwa muda wako na kwa wote waliofanikisha taarifa hizi. Shukran sana. Takuachana neno la siku. Naitwa Nuru Abdulaziz, mwenzangu wa ishara ni Flora Atieno.
Katika neno la siku leo tunaangazia neno nemsi. Nemsi ina maana ya sifa njema. Mfano katika sentensi, Wizara Usalama wa Ndani inajitafutia nemsi kwa kukabiliana vilivyo na tatizo la ugaidi Lamu.
This is NTV.
With Glovo, you've got the city at your fingertips. Hanging out na mnataka kuku fry ama nyama choma customized na ugali sosa? Order Glovo. Now enjoy. Time to shower and running out of soap? Order Glovo na uanze siku fresh. Ama simply treat family nzima with a sweet surprise. Delicious. With Glovo, unaweza track order yako minute by minute. Download Glovo, order anything you want and receive it in minutes.
What's your relationship with pain? What's your relationship with change? What is your relationship with finances? Do you get knocked out or do you go with the punches?
Kitovu cha vizazi ni baba mzazi. Unafaa kuzingatia nini kabla hujalitia guu lako ndani?
Join us for the 3rd edition of Man Cave.
Tuchambue, tutadavue nyama na mdahalo wake. Maswala ya wanaume peupe.
And this time, we have an amazing after party session from 7 p.m. till midnight. And we'll have great music, great food, and also fireside chats. And for you guys who want to spend the night over, well, definitely, we have the plan for you.
Tarehe 28 mwezi wa Oktoba mwaka 2023. Ungana nasi hapa All Tepes Picnic Site kwa sherehe bab kubwa.
When men meet, change happens.
This is NTV.
Welcome to this conversation on Business Redefined, your weekly, most comprehensive look at the world of business, finance, and economics. Now, last week and also into this week, presentations have been made to the National Assembly Finance and Planning Committee on matters regarding proposals on how to re-engineer Kenya's tax regime. And one of the proposals, a very bold one I should say, is to abandon the graduated tax regime to have a flat tax, and that came from none other than CPF. And the man in charge is the GMD, Hosea Kili. Pleased to have you on set, sir.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. Bwana Hosea Kili, a very bold proposal. Maybe just give us some introductory thoughts where you're coming from with this proposal.
I'm coming from the position that of Mwananchi. I work with very many people. I work with pensioners. I work with the people in society who deal with the common people. And therefore, I feel the pain of our citizens and our slow pace of development coming out of our resource constraints. And at the same time, I'm very well aware that the economy requires a lot of resources in order to create employment, provide disposable income to the people, and at the same time, so that the people can be able to spend, and when they spend, then the economy is actually rejuvenated. So that's where my bold idea, as you call it, emanates from.
I see. So you are proposing, and for the sake of those who might not be familiar with it, that we have a flat consumption tax rate, which is a final tax, and the difference between a final and the other is that we have, for instance, withholding tax, whereby you will pay an installment, then pay later as well to have the full 30%. But the question that emerges is this: for critics of flat taxes have always argued that the question of equity as a canon of taxation is lost. For instance, Jose Akili takes home millions of shillings in his income. Julian Samboko takes home only tens of thousands as his income. The way I would feel 16% is not the same way you'd feel 16%. How do you respond to that?
I don't think that's correct. Equity would definitely be served by having a flat rate, particularly when we apply it to a realistic income. According to me and many people who have actually listened to my proposal, the realistic income of a person is the amount they are actually spending on their needs. So the person who spends less actually pays less. The person who spends more pays more. So if the rate is flat, it affects both sides of the people the same. Now, you can argue that the person is poor, is not capable of making any tax contribution or tax payment. But there is an expectation that tax is supposed to be an obligation on every citizen. And the distortion which has come from applying exemptions is actually where we have the loopholes which cause these tax challenges. So in that case, therefore, my belief is that if I'm spending 10,000 shillings, as you say, then if my rate, and the rate which applies to all of us as citizens, is 10% or 16%, I will just pay a portion of that, a fraction, and retain the majority of the money. The best way to do it, according to me, is to actually tax everybody the same. But now, the resources which are then collected, you can now redistribute it in terms of the expenditure back to the people to take care of the needs of the vulnerable and the people who are calling poor. Okay, so that would be then possible, and that will be answered by the second part of my proposal, which is on the social protection.
Let me hold you there and respectfully disagree with you, because when you look at this from a tax burden perspective, disposable incomes come into play. And what the disposable income does is to bring in the question of the tax absorption impact. For instance, when this country was caught up in the debate of standard rating VAT on fuel from 8 to 16%, the reason why the uproar came from the bottom of the pyramid is because we don't have the legroom from a disposable income standpoint to absorb that impact. For the top tier income earners, if I could say, is you will feel the pinch, but you can absorb it because you actually have the disposable income to absorb it. And that is where the question of equity comes in, Jose. And I'm still not persuaded that this will not bring a challenge on the equity side.
Let me give you an example so that you can understand why I believe that this is the only equitable way. The disposable income we are talking about is that we are saying for now, I believe the indirect taxes, the indirect taxes actually are bigger than even the direct taxes. So effectively, the effective rate of taxation in our country is actually not known, but definitely is not anywhere near even 40%. It would be higher. Yeah. The effective rate at the end of the day for everybody. So how do you cushion these people so that you create equity? These people who are vulnerable. What do they do with the disposable income you are trying to have them retain? They use it to pay for their medical. They use it to pay for their school fees. They use it to take care of the their extended families, and just wanted to buy food. Okay? So you want them to retain as much of it as possible so that they can spend on those things. So what is the problem with that model is that in countries where social protection has been taken to the right level, these kind of costs are actually absorbed by majorly the state.
By the state, correct.
So you are trying to solve a problem in one way by trying to not tax them, but you are actually creating another problem which the state is not dealing with. And the same people will not stop asking for the government and the state to take care of those social protection issues. The proposition is that here, let the government have the funds, but do better, much better, in dealing with all the social protection issues. So really, the issue is that unless we deal with it in a bigger way as a nation, the social protection issues are going to overwhelm the country. And if you leave it for the people to do it, they won't do it. Yeah.
In your simulation, Bwanakili, you do indicate that this could see collections of ordinary revenue as much as triple, which looks like a very ambitious projection, if you asked me. I would really like to understand how you go about this forecast.
I hope we agree with you that 80% of our economy for now is still cash-based. In other words, people still transact in cash. If you look at our GDP, is in the range of 12-13 trillion. Okay, but when you look at the transactions, the multiplicity of transactions, which are informers, they inform of the capacity of the citizens to actually possibly raise revenue. You see they are ever growing. Now, so what is the kind of statistics were managed to garner from Kenyan economy for 2022? We found that, for example, the common mwananchi borrows over 1.8 billion every day from a single source, Fuliza. That's only one source. So you can calculate, if you simulate for the whole year, how many? That's a lot of money. Kenyans spend a lot of money on gambling. It's a very big business now in our country. I think they do to the tune of 169 billion spent on gambling. Electronic fund transfer, I mentioned, which, as I said, represent an expenditure, 3.4 trillion in 2022-2023. Mobile money transfer. This is the information from KEPS, National Bureau of Statistics. 7.9 trillion passed through mobile money transfers. Some of them may be done by commercial entities or organizations, but it's possible to sort of extrapolate that most of them are eventually intended for actual spending by the citizens. Now, the biggest area of spend is on mobile commerce, which was 20.3 trillion in 2022-2023. So when you combine all that, you come up with something like the tracked expenditure in the simulation is about 31.6 trillion on just, and now what we are covering is only 20% of the money economy. 80% is still traded in cash. We're just taking a position that let's be very conservative. So we have taken 35 trillion in a year. Then we have applied a flat tax of 16%. So that's why we arrive at 5 trillion, give or take. So in terms of the actuals, we come up with something like 6 point something trillion. So, and this is only coming from the mwananchi side, not the corporates. So what we are therefore saying, and everybody agrees in this country, all the economists agree that the biggest challenge to our country is the informal economy. Informal economy is what is where the tax leakage, the huge tax leakage is happening there. So this, for the first time, is a proposal to now deal with collecting taxes from the informal economy in addition to the formal economy. So when you deal with the informal economy effectively through this proposal, you also continue now to lighten the weight for the formal economy so that they can now begin to breathe and the burden is shared.
There's a lot going on at the moment in this house.
Their true identity is uncovered in the brand new unmissable Zari. Starts 23 October, only on Maisha Magic Plus, channel 163 on DSTV Access, GoTV Plus, channel 3.
Wateja who prefer stock zangu, juu ziko tayari kuvaliwa pap wa. Lakini vile hii ekonomi imetufinya, ilinibidi kubadilisha sabuni nikatumia ingine rahisi. Bala, ilibidi nioshe kila kitu mara mbili. Sikuwa na otherwise, nikarudia Ariel. Mi hupata clean and fresh results kwa mwosho mmoja tu. Ariel ndio siri yangu. Sasa story yangu iko popular sana.
Ariel, usafi bora kwa mwosho mmoja tu. You can now manage all your finances with one app. Link your bank cards and enjoy fast, safe, and convenient transactions no matter the bank or mobile money network you're on.
New Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair. It's a huge game changer for me. The science is pretty amazing because it really goes deep inside the tooth and repairs tooth sensitivity. I am a happy patient. I will be able to go back to the things that I enjoy eating the most. The science is there. It's going to improve the quality of my life in a big way. The new Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair.
Show off your best skin with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. Now with 5-in-1 Complete Care. The deeply nourishing formula prevents your skin from drying with precious cocoa butter and deep moisture for smooth and healthy looking skin. Step out in confidence with our most complete care from the world's #1 skincare brand.
Rongo University Chancellor, Council, University Management Board and Senate cordially invite you to the 8th graduation ceremony for the conferment of degrees and award of diplomas and certificates by the Chancellor of Rongo University on 19th October 2023 starting at 9 a.m. at the university main campus graduation ground. The theme of graduation is Empowered as Innovators for a Sustainable Tomorrow. Follow the proceedings live on NTV and all the NTV social media platforms. Rongo University, the gold mine of knowledge and innovation.
My name is Norman Mudibo. For me, Man Cave really came at a very opportune time. It offers a platform for men to really open up. I've attended both. The first one was in Karen, Nairobi County. The second one was in Limuru County. And of course, looking forward to the third one, which will be in Kajiado County, specifically Oletipis picnic site. It is a safe space. Come, share your story. Inspire other men. Inspire the boys who are coming up. Inspire the men folk to really open up, to share, and to help each other grow to the next level.
All holders are notified to report and surrender unclaimed financial assets to the Unclaimed Financial Assets Authority, UFAA, on or before November 1st, 2023. Visit www.ufaa.go.ke and get started.
The challenge with the simulation that you've given, that I see, is this. There's a reason why, and this has been a matter of intense national debate, is that when Treasury, through the Finance Act, introduced excise on mobile money services, the whole idea was to address what you're talking about, that we have such a huge churn when it comes to mobile money payments, and we are not sure whether they're just simple person-to-person remittances or they are actually business transactions. So let's introduce an excise rate on the same, and that is the reason why over the last 3 or so years, if you look at the numbers, excise from mobile money services is increasingly taking a larger piece of the pie when you compare it to alcoholic beverages, cigarettes, etc. Don't you think you are devising a solution for a problem that is already being solved?
I don't think so. The problem is that our national treasury policymakers simply wanted to expand the tax collection. And all they have done is introduce a new tax on top of the existing taxes. So that's why the cry is there. My proposal is totally ridiculous. It's saying, make tax simple to collect, make it one, and that's all. In the long run, I know there will be transitional issues, how to transition carefully without hurting the revenue of the country. That's what we shall deal with as at the end of this conversation. But the main thing is, what I'm saying is that when you tell the mwananchi, when you pay this consumption tax, it will be the only one you will pay. You won't be paying any other. Then compliance will be 100%. And two, it is subconscious. I want to just make you understand even that excise tax which is paid by the people for mobile, whatever, transaction, is subconscious because you really don't have, sometimes you don't even notice it.
Don't even notice it, yeah, true.
Okay? So that is the concept which belies this particular proposal, that if you take everything of payment of tax and even contributions, now the social protection contribution which I'm also putting as a icing on the cake, the people, the stimuli, the principle of incentives. I know we have incentives or tax reliefs here and there, which do not work. The best incentive is connect the tax payment to our immediate and real benefit to the citizen. So that when I pay tax, the next thing I see a message from my social protection account saying, you and the government have contributed for your account so much at the point when you made that transaction. Then the people can connect the relationship. And that social protection fund account will now be the one dealing with all the myriad of social protection programs which we all crave for and which everybody has been asking for. But we have been dealing with it in a piecemeal manner. This one is intended to be a holistic approach and then deal with everything together. So there is a connection there. From the tax, the government shares some of the portion of the tax immediately at the point of payment and collection instantly with the citizen. And the information flows within the digital technology immediately, which is possible. So that is the basis for this. And my belief is that when you remove all the complicated taxes which mwananchi has to maneuver around and make it a very simple thing, the simpler it is, the better.
And that's for sure. That's one of the advantages of a flat tax is just the ease of administration. I was scanning the globe, and if you look at the jurisdictions where we have flat taxes in place, they are largely emerging markets going to advanced markets. We are not in that space yet. And the reason why it would be easier on that side is because of the level of formalization of those economies, and it is even a lot easier to administrate. I'm wondering what sort of benchmarking you could have done across jurisdictions to inform that this would be an ideal tax for an economy like Kenya, a low or middle income economy.
First of all, I want to tell you something, Julia. I am not one person who believes that we should be validating our thoughts, leadership on other jurisdictions. Kenya has proven to be a trailblazer in many innovative ideas. I mean, we are the same people here in this country who, when we were challenged by how to move money from place to place, and when Safaricom came up with the M-Pesa as a solution, lucky enough, the authorities were good enough to permit such a banking product without being from a bank to come in. And everybody thought we have a very big population of illiterate Kenyans who may not be able to utilize it. But tell me where we are now. A few weeks ago when we were in San Francisco with the president, I was very happy and very proud as a Kenyan when Safaricom at the international fora in the Silicon Valley demonstrated the trailblazing idea from Kenya and Africa. I want to tell you, this is like an M-Pesa moment. Do not underestimate Kenyans. If we can simplify this tax, make Kenyans just know that when I pay, I don't have to do any annual declarations. I don't have to fill any forms. I don't have to do, and nobody will follow me. Because, I've paid my tax and I've paid my contributions. I can tell you, because many Kenyans have adopted smartphones And in fact, there's an effort to expand the manufacture of smartphones in the country. And I believe this will be distributed to every Kenyan. We are adopting a UPI, that is a unique personal identifier. It's happening. Yeah. This proposal is riding on that technology. Two, we're gonna make every citizen who is selling a goods, works or services to be an agent of tax collection. And they'll just use even their mobile phones with an app. This app will be connected on the GPRS platform to the KRA system and the banking system, and the money will go to a single pay bill account at the at the central bank, with a whole payment gateway, providing a split funds going to the consolidated fund. With even a split, I've proposed even another split, that when that money goes to the federal fund, it should actually go to 2 accounts, one for the national government, another one for the counties. And then the other split is to the consolidated fund. And then that fund will just deal with the holistic person. If you see the myriad of benefits outlined here, they are not exhaustive, but they are things which Mwananchi cares so much for. Every Mwananchi wants to be healthy without having to go to an hospital and pay anything. So we want to make it possible to be that health can be universal. If, for example, we are going to raise from this simulation around 1.3 trillion per year for social protection, you can see, for example, that we shall be able to fund our health fully for the Mwananchi, everybody. We shall fund our education. We shall fund even our housing needs. We shall also fund our chamas and SACCOs. That's actually the clincher. When government contributes to my chama, Mwananchi's chama and SACCO, you can imagine now what will happen if that account is filled up with money daily, and the Mwananchi can go and borrow now from the SACCO or the chama and do business. The multiply effect, you can't believe it, because, well, the Pareto principle will show that maybe 80% of those businesses may fail. But 20%, if they succeed, they will become the multinationals we have in the country in the future. And that is the gamble we must take with the Mwananchi. So what we are saying here is that the simpler, the better. The technology exists to do it. The Mwananchi are willing at taking it. And I want to give you the realistic situation. I'm sure you've been traveling. Now, if you travel out of Kenya and go to South Africa, go to Europe, go to America, go anywhere, you will not spend cash anywhere. And it's coming to Kenya. Even if there's no law, Kenyans are simply going to stop spending cash. They're going to be a cashless economy. Now, when that happens, this thing will work like clockwork, particularly when you synthesize it. When you synthesize it so that if you go to the bank and the bank says, sorry, we are not, I even know now, you go to the bank and try to deposit some cash, they'll tell you, sorry, go to the ATM. And then ATM is clumsy. So now you'll not be doing that, you'll now do it differently. Now, the same thing is happening in those kind of economies which you are talking about. They have, of course, more sophisticated systems. But who tells you that we are not able to adopt that? I can tell you the fact that 80% of Kenyans adults have a phone tells me that they will adopt this.
It's a good starting point.
Yeah.
I'm being signaled we need to be wrapping up our conversation. So, one, very briefly, you have come up with this proposal within the context of Kenya being in the midst of an IMF program, which was recently extended by 10 months to April 2025. A very key part of the IMF program is revenue targets and revenue mobilization. How do you see this interplay between what you're proposing and the existing realities? Because the program is already a reality we have. Have you weighed that?
Yeah. The reality we have in our country is a very simple one. We are not used to cutting down our expenditure. So we have a situation whereby, whereas our resource envelope has been shrinking,
our expenditure
has been going higher. And nobody, I don't believe any part of our political dispensation would want to see a reduction in expenditure. Everybody is promising heaven on earth. More roads, schools, scholarships, bursaries, name it. Okay? That's what Kenyans want. But on the other hand, they are not willing to pay more. So what will give? Sovereign borrowing has to continue. Local borrowing has to continue. And that shrinks again the development. And we are actually ending to, we are going toward, where we are. So something has to give, definitely. So IMF comes back and say, okay, you want us to balance your budget. We support your, your deficits. Okay, fine. For us to do that, we'll give you the program, but you have to take the bill, raise your taxes. That's the solution. So that is where we are now. So my solution is that if we can be able to begin a journey of self-dependence, and the beauty about Kenya is that we have an Arambe spirit. Right now, when people are suffering, you know what they do? They call upon their friends, their neighbors, and they find a solution for their common problems. Unfortunately, that's not sustainable, but it is what they do. Now, so if we say everyone in the right to education, pay your rightful taxes, but also expect the government to use those taxes well to take care of your needs. And the needs must not only be just paying salaries for civil servants and their administrative expenses, but also a big part, that money must actually have an impact on the social needs of the people. And that's when the ownership of this thing will work. So the idea is that, yes, it's painful to tax the informal economy because they have never been taxed before. But when they understand that this money is coming back to deal with not only the normal things which we have been aware about, but also their social needs and their business needs. Okay, their business needs. So that is where to me, that's where the game changes. And when you make it simple, straightforward, and final, not the one where you don't know how much you are paid, how much you are going to pay at the end of the year, and filling so many forms. I personally don't like filling forms.
Wanakili, unfortunately, we have run out of time and have to close our conversation at that point. We've been speaking to the group MD of CPF. We've been discussing the proposal around a flat tax being adopted in this country following his submissions, and that matter has elicited so much discussion online to see its feasibility and how it would work, especially in an economy such as Kenya, where the vast majority are playing in the informal space. We shall continue highlighting this as we build up, of course, to the Finance Bill and Finance Act of 2024. So stay tuned.
Introducing the East African Entrepreneurship Conference and Expo, hosted in the heart of the Democratic Republic of Congo from October 31st to November 2nd, 2023. Proudly presented by Nation Media Group. Unleash the potential of East African entrepreneurship as you connect with visionary minds, explore untapped markets, and forge lucrative trade partnerships. Whether you're poised to conquer the vibrant business landscape of the DRC or eager to expand your footprint across East Africa, this event is your gateway to success. For comprehensive details and registration, call Joanne on 0724 661 440 or email jmasika@ke.nationmedia.com.
NTV, turning on your world. The following program has been rated PG. It may contain scenes unsuitable for children under the age of 10.
Head Over Heels in association with Ariel.
Amor.
pamoja.